Hello, how are you doing? Number one, Tiny Conspiracy. You are the first, and you've already smashed the like button. That's just awesome. What's going on in crypto land? We're here to talk to you about crypto. Big day today, Friday. It's the non-farm payrolls day, and of course, yep, there is a certain element of big business having an effect on crypto. You thought it was separate. You thought it was about freedom. You thought it wasn't about warfare. The next thing you find, it's all about the banks, the same people that fund the wars, the theft of the resources, and everything else. Come to Copenhagen. Yeah. Copenhagen, a great place. Copenhagen. I love it. Denmark. Yep. We love it. I've actually got a sister-in-law who is Danish. They dance around the Christmas tree in Denmark, much to my embarrassment, at family events. Let's go. Let's talk crypto. What's going on? So Bitcoin. What doing the Bitcoin? Now, the funny thing is, everyone's feeling a bit hurt and sore, but actually, here's the thing, he says, after quite some red bar selling, it's actually quite a bullish structure. It's called a continuation pattern. Don't forget, you had some upside. Let's go to the 4 hour. That's how it looks on the 4 hour. You've had some upside, you've had some pullback. That's how the world works. There's lots of dollar strength that's been coming around. So actually, it's not too bad after all. Little fractal over there. Of course, there was a bigger setup overall that we've highlighted. We'll do that again and properly and extensively for you in the live trading day that we'll be doing not very far off from now, because the big fake number of employment is coming out for America. It often moves markets. And overall, guys, this smells of continuation. You haven't loved it while it's happening, and typically you get 3 waves of selling. We regularly say that. 3 clear, distinct, harsh waves of selling. 1, let's box them in for you so you don't miss them. 1, that's the end result of 1, and you've just eaten the 3rd. Let's share screen, shall we? Let's share screen. Sorry about that. You want to see as well? Come on, guys. You want to see as well, you greedy motherfuckers? Sorry about that. Oh, he's so dyslexic. He'll keep doing it until he's in the old age home. 3 cells. There we go. Let's draw it again for you so you can all participate and see 3 cells. So this is a continuation pattern, and that is broadly considered a falling wedge. And you're at the lowest point where people will be the most pessimistic. And we are here to say, fear not, it gets better. That's our take. You've just had a good run up. You had a lengthy ascending squeeze. Outside of anything really major occurring, I should imagine that you work your way slowly to the other end, and at some point you smash. Look for the fractal that forms on the capping descending grind line. That is one subatomic component of a falling wedge. That is, of course, the basing descending grind line, which are the 2 chopsticks, that squeezy Japanesey. You see, that's why we bring the Japanese into this. We love the Japanese. They are an awesome culture. I have Japanese kitchen knives that have been folded 700 times, that are so super sharp. If you just look at it wrong, it'll slice your eye socket open. And I cut with it. No one else is allowed to touch it. It is handiwork par excellence. It is beautiful, thing of great beauty. I have one for cutting meat. I have one for cutting lemons, and one for cutting this. I'll even do your foreskin for you, like this. And you'll be fresh as a daisy. You won't even know it's happened. They're so sharp. And there will be no licking or blowing. I don't do that kind of thing. Anyway, I sense a bit of digression here. How did I get into such territory? My goodness, you would think that there's a Talmudic cult that is destroying our freedom. And that, of course, is clearly antiseptic. So let's go back to Bitcoin. You are got some basing over here. You got some basing, and you are probably going to recover some. That also means we are quite optimistic Ethereum. We did tell you big target of going for 13,800 by the time this thing is over. Word to the wise. It's a business cycle. It's not, it's stretching. It's no longer a 4-year supply hardening cycle. You need to get rid of that. The supply that will come and the reduction that will come are getting ever more trivial by nature. That new minted Bitcoins are not really a thing. We're trading the existing supply. I would love to know how much has been lost, fallen behind on a computer hard drive somewhere, etc., etc., etc. I've no doubt that they'll be recovered if they've not moved after a certain time. BlackRock will assume custody for them if after a draconian call to all people to move their Bitcoin in their wallets, that does not occur. All lost Bitcoin will be absorbed, no doubt. Much like banks, by the way, if you leave money in their account and they consider you gone, they just go, yep, it's ours. You thought it was a fair system, didn't you? Well, you're stupid. That's right, you're stupid. By the way, live trading day today. Don't forget, link below. We're going to do a full deep dive into the alts. We're calling for outside again of a major DDE. Until that event happens, there is a chance it could happen. But during this period, we are thinking that this is the significant turn. This is the inverted Bitcoin dominance chart where going up means less Bitcoin dominance. It's an alt bull indicator. So if you were to run there, that means Bitcoin dominance would be going from the 60% range where it is roughly now back into the 40s for a while before eventually our super squeezy we think we'll eventually see Bitcoin dominance approach 20s. So that's a macro. I don't think that's necessarily the cycle. I think we're just getting to the other side here will be a good job. But that could be very attractive for alts as and when it takes place. And one of the key alts that does need to move is, in fact, Ethereum. So let's talk about Ethereum. It sold off equally, and it's in a broadening structure after breaking out of a rising wedge structure. We saw that. We watched it happen. We became a bit more nervous about that. You see the false hold of a line, bought up. Everyone who's trading to a level, no, I will buy every time it trades, 3,770. And then eventually it washes out. That's why you need technical analysis, because support holds until it doesn't. Big washout. Has it had 3 sells? Yeah, I think it has. 1, 2, 3. It's probably had its 3. But it's got quite a long way to work itself back up into this range before breaking out of its capping, descending, broadening. We call these slides, by the way, when they're that big. It starts out a megaphone. If it's a very long move that takes a large amount of the pole away, it's actually a standalone broadening structure that is a slide. That's too big for a megaphone on a stick. It's almost, the megaphone is bigger than the stick. So it's its own slide, kind of like those things you jump out of when the plane crashes in the water, you know, one of those with a little broaden on it. So we think that's going to go like that and work its way, but slowly at first, then it's going to chop around. Look for a fractal on a breaking of the capping descending grind line. That could be exceedingly positive for you, and we could get the 4K eventually, assuming we have a decent time for crypto during this. I'm a little concerned about gold. I think it can soften a little bit, but it's had a good run. And sometimes it's the leader for crypto. So we've got to keep in mind the possibility that this could get worse. You could go to the other side and actually have another sell. We have a demand destroying event. It's possible. But broadly, I think I'm at this relative low. I think you short term, you get recovery, and we'll watch that. And the possibility of this breakout is probably slightly higher. But October, September, dicey months. If we get a full-on risk-off event, don't be caught without stops in the market if you are a leverage trader. That's just the way I will feel. It's non-advisory. We are not regulated to give advice. You can see how you get 3 sells in these things. There's one over here. You see that? You thought you'd done it over here. You thought you're about to break out once, twice, 3 times. Then you get a squeezy, and that's your move up. And that's what happened. Okay, that's a little bit on Ethereum. We should actually have a look at Ethereum BTC. It got hit a little bit harder on that sell, I think. NTC, let's try BTC. What say you all? What are interesting you on this moment? So we've had a good move up against Bitcoin for Ethereum after a long period of just being garbage. Ethereum has been garbage for a long period in this alt. And now you broke out of this. You held the ledge. Little bit of a stall box. You see the box there. And once you gave it up, return move and spill. So you broke, return move. All the time you were testing. That was a bad break. You got a little bit of a rally, and now you're losing ground. You're losing ground. Marginally higher high, 1 and 2. It's always a key point. And by the way, this is a legacy funnel right here. Let's make sure I'm still sharing screen and not talking to myself. Yeah, he's got it right. He's sharing screen. So yeah, so you guys saw a little bit with that. Hopefully, that's what's going on. What else have we got for you? XRP is looking a bit soft, friends. It's a little bit soft. And on the 3 sell rule, that's your sell. You see that grindy wicks, buying. We'll buy all the time. We'll buy all the time. Exhaustion. And then Bitcoin came and bang, you're a whole bunch lower. And then we were looking at this as a bit of a flaggy structure or wedge. And you bled out of it, you had the sell-off, you had a return move, and you're selling off. For me, XRP feels a little bit like there's another sell-off to come. You could rally a little bit and recover, and you could still have another sell because that looks like the primary sell. This looks like a piecemeal sell with a bit of a rising wedge in it. So that's all really part of one sell-off. I wonder. It could be better. You could get up here and meet this resistance, and then you could sell off like that and do a double bottom. And that would be the beginning of reversal and something positive. So it's a little disappointing from XRP. It's a little bit disappointing so far, but you know, we know where we stand on that one on the big time frames. You could end up with a falling wedge. You could get that. And then you break. That could create some nice power again. A squeeze gives power. Compression, volatility, constriction is our game. It's the V in the HVF method, and it's the most important letter in truth. It's the volatility. Stupid. That's what Bill Clinton might have said if he was a technical analysis trader. It's the volatility. Stupid. Yeah, what say ye? What say all ye of the Grand Win? Don't forget, by the way, live trading day. Did mention that. Click in the link below. You can also book a call and find out more about what we're doing. Someone thinks it's hopium, Cookie Monster. Until the chart flips, stay out. It's a safe thing to do. Yeah, you don't need the first 5%. We're just warning. I have a feeling Bitcoin might get a bit better. Back to BTC, it is the boss of crypto. I think it'll have a bit better, but it's a slow recovery. I don't think it's a ripper. Might start later on pumping after the non-farm number is out. I was told in 2012 BTC will go to 1 million. I'm still waiting. Well, it might still. It's made some progress. You've got to give it some credit, maybe. 2012. How about XCN? That one gets asked often, and we will cover it in the live trading day. This is a short little hello to you all because we haven't done a stream in a while. There's an event coming. It can sometimes move markets. It can sometimes move the dollar. Moving the dollar can have an effect on crypto because headwind, tailwind, what's it going to be? It's quite important that we'll do an hour and a half, and XCN will be part of that. No, I don't think Bitcoin has topped. Has it topped? No. But can always be wrong. And the situation that would see us be wrong on that would be big drama start unfolding in August. And by the way, last year on the yen carry trade, big drama did start unfolding in August. If we have a no drama August, no particular drama, you know, the usual Trump kabuki theater going on with Powell and this and that, and you know, all the other stuff. But I mean, nothing particularly immense happening in the financial markets, no stock market crash, etc., etc. If that all is pretty benign, I would actually say it will be a recovery month and a good month broadly for crypto. So I think you'll make a new high. Bitcoin Cash, we'll cover that one too, and XCN. So XCN and XDC get regularly mentioned together, and XLM as part and parcel of XRP. Those we will all be covering in the live trading day. So we've given you Bitcoin to recap. Let's just do it again, and let's share the screen this time so that we're not talking to people in a blind hole. A quick recap on Bitcoin. I think it actually has a better weekend, not the dominance. We've said already that it's had a bad spill, but we think, and it's actually a pretty bad spill. It was bigger than the second spill. Where did I've lost my draw tool. Come back. It was quite a big spill of the three spills. This one, it was slightly bigger than that one. It was not bigger than the first one though. So yeah, I think it's done. 3 big hits, but there is a range here that you're having problems staying above, and it's got a combination of this little fractals funnel. We've got a squeezy in there, an HVF with a funnel in there, and also a target. And generally when it's run the target, it's sold off, even when it's got close. So you've got to get back above this level. So I'd expect this to come in here and then come off, wind up, create some sort of strength to break both. That's what we would call fractalizing at the capping descending grind line to clear what is a box of resistance. Outside of your blow off high here, you weren't able to hold above 120 meaningfully for any extensive period. So there's that 118, 119, upper 119s area where you're just getting rejected the whole time. Rejected. You know, you're getting that reject. So that's why it sold off. It sold off a little, but it got support. Now it broke that support the first time quite substantially. The other time was somewhat. The rest were just, you know, minors. That was somewhat, and now that's quite a lot. So it's actually taken a beating, a succession of beating. Don't forget, dollars firmed in the last weeks and months. So that has been the headwind. So that's the news on Bitcoin. But I think it recovers and it goes again. That's it. Then Ethereum, we show you that one more time as a recap. Don't forget that link. That's Ethereum against Bitcoin, losing a little bit of ground, rounding out a little bit. It's going to have to fix that as well. So it's coming a tiny bit off the boil. If we put it just on its own against the dollar, it got sold quite hard when Bitcoin fell. So that's an ugly sell. If you look at the 3 sells, that's an outlier sell. So I'm never super confident to call it 100% over when the very biggest sell is the last one. Typically, you want the first one to be big, medium, and then moderate. So you can see the momentum swinging. That actually had an exceptional sell. So it was trying to be strong for a while and holding a level. And this second sell was truncated. You only went marginally lower than the first from a lower point. So it was holding up quite well. And then a lot of those buyers that were holding that 3,760 relented with this sell. So you've now got burnt fingers, and that means money that takes a lot longer before it comes back in. So that's my take there. This was a warning when you broke there. We were speaking about this in the community. You came out of a rising wedge. This was a grindy up. You've got to notice you go up. You've got to notice how you go up. Grinding, little pop out the top, as you often do. We have a name for that, a type 2 rising wedge, where you pop out the top and flush out completely out the bottom. That's a final exhaustion. Gold did something like that. It broke out. We thought we were good to go, and that it's going to go all the way to 3,800 and whatever. And it just got hit really, really hard, came back harder than it went up. And that's the same thing that happened here on crypto. So we've got to watch out a little bit that gold is still out there. So whilst I think the weekend you can rally, we've got to check it out to see if it's really got the gumption to get across the other side. We might have to keep an eye on the precious metals to do that, in which case, in that event, you could have another sell to the downside broadly, and that would affect Bitcoin. That would mean Bitcoin is leading that. So we've got to watch gold, we've got to watch Bitcoin, and we're somewhat short and medium term a little bit bearish gold. So but I would still say this weekend you should be okay. You should be getting a bit better. Remember, gold doesn't trade the weekend. This looks like a recovery into the funnel. Whether you smash out the top, that'll be next week. We need to see what the other markets are doing. Super strong dollar, bad gold. You go up to this other side here and you'll come back down again. It can happen. Okay, I hope we've been clear. XRP looking soft. Looks like it could rally. There's a bit of a hammer there, a little bit of a rally, but you really want it to rally all the way up to this point. Then you have a chance of head and shoulder for reversals, and you need Bitcoin, Ethereum, and gold not to be getting smashed and the dollar to not be too strong. So there's quite a lot of variables in there. You could do instead something like that and find yourself trading down again if the others are doing so too. Okay, hope that's been useful for you. Much more detail to come on our live stream that we'll be doing. $197, by the way, $197. Join us. You have a full month to watch the recording again. You watch it live. You ask me questions. I will be covering XDC and XCN and all the others in the crypto session. We'll go into a deep dive. You have access to the recording for 30 days. You can watch it. You can see it. You can, if we put on any trades, you'll see how those do. You'll be able to follow it. So there's a library for you where you have a login code and you can go and watch again and again. So there's no restriction on the access to the recordings. If you choose, you can buy 2 for the price. You can buy 3 for the price of 2. Let's get it right. My dyslexia coming through there. So for $397, you'll have 3 months worth, 3 months access, and every one of the first Friday of the months, traditional markets, half-hour break for an hour and a half, and the crypto markets update. So you can pick if there's anything you want. Remember, non-advisory. It's just us talking about what we think we see and where real trade opportunities might come. So a little bit of reinflation for XRP. It wasn't the worst sell that came there. So XRP is a little bit better, and that little hammer. So I think there's some clear recovery there. The question is, will you get one more hit down? It's okay if it's there and you get hit down there. You might start making a W bottom, and then you can have a shoulder on both sides. And that could point to eventual some recovery and some upside. I think on broad, that's why I'm generally bullish. I don't think gold goes too far to the downside. I don't think the dollar goes too far with strength. We will see with the payroll number coming later. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. And we appreciate the likes and the shares. And by the way, there was 255 of you, of which 76 liked. We appreciate that, particularly those that fooled the algorithm by leaving a comment and a chat and hit the like or dislike button. Why not dislike us? We are a nasty bunch. Okay, catch you guys next time. Bye for now.